Good afternoon, students. You're welcome to Module 3 of our course, and it's entitled Wallet Types and Security Measures. So the course we're taking, as you well know, blockchain transaction and wallet security, okay? So we're going to look at the different types of wallets and the security measures we can use in securing these wallets. In fact, most importantly, it's the funds in the wallet that we are trying to secure. All right, so in this module, I will look at the different types of wallets that are used in the blockchain, and we're going to look at the best practices for securing these wallets. We're going to talk about software wallets, hardware wallets, paper wallets, as well as password management. A lot of you don't know how to, create a very strong password. So we're going to look at that. And also two-factor authentication that can be used to enhance the security of these wallets. Okay, so we're going to look at that right away. Now let's begin with understanding why there are different types of wallets. Okay, so from what we know, wallets or cryptocurrency wallets in blockchain technology serve as a digital container for storing and managing cryptographic keys that provide access to your digital assets. So remember earlier in our previous module, we talked about the public and private keys, okay? So these wallets are used to store and manage our private keys as well as our public keys. Now, importantly, what it does help us to, manage is the private keys, because these private keys grants us access to the digital assets that are encrypted in our private key. Okay, so understanding these different types of wallets is very important because it can help us determine what we would, what is best for us depending on the purpose of the wallet. Okay, so different wallets for different purposes. And some wallets are used by organizations, some wallets are used by individuals. So the different types of wallets that exist, has its own advantages and its own challenges as well. So we're going to see the best way. We won't recommend to you this is the best kind of wallet to use. It's your choice. However, we're going to share with you some of the benefits of these different types of wallets, as well as the challenges and the best practice to be able to secure any of these types of wallets that we have. Okay, so first of all, let's begin with software wallets. Well, as we know, software wallets are basically wallets that exist digitally. Okay, so it could be on our laptops or desktops. It could be on our mobile phones. Okay, so a lot of you are very much familiar with mobile wallets. For example, Trust wallets, Coinbase. The Token Pocket. All sorts of different, there's just so many today, thousands of them. But what about desktop? Is it possible that one can actually save or install a software wallet on his desktop? The answer is yes. So software wallets are divided into two categories: the desktop wallets and the mobile wallets. So example of desktop wallets are Exodus, Electrum, and Atomic Wallet. These are the main or widely known and reliable software wallets for desktop. Okay, you could install it on your laptop, you can install it on your desktop. It doesn't matter the operating system you have. So Mac OS, Windows, Linux, doesn't matter. Okay, so that's it for desktop wallets. And then for mobile wallets, we have Trust Wallet, we have Coinbase, we have Token Pocket, we have Mycelium, okay? We have MetaMask, right? We have MetaMask. We have, well, lots. We have what's it called? Uh, what was it? I just forgot that one. Just give me a second. I'll bring it up right away. We have quite a lot of them here. So we have, this is, yeah, BitPay. BitPay is also a form of software wallet. Okay, so these wallets can be installed simply by what? Searching on any of the store applications, maybe Google Play Store or App Store if you're using an iPhone, and you can download this wallet directly. Okay. Now, the interesting part of this mobile wallet is that it makes everything easy. For example, importing your already created wallet, you could simply use a QR code to import your wallet. You could also use the QR code scanning system to do what? To perform transactions, to send money. So instead of copying and pasting like we'll do on a regular desktop wallet, we can just use the QR code feature, scan, and that's it. It's it gives us the public address to which we're sending to. Okay, so it makes the use or transactions on the blockchain far easier. Okay, now these two we just talked about are examples of software wallets: the desktop wallets and the mobile wallets. Well, it's up to you which you want to use. For example, if you feel more secured not carrying your wallet around on your mobile phone, you could choose to use a desktop wallet to save your funds. Okay. But if it's a wallet where perhaps you make expenses on day to day, you need to take out money, you need to put in money, you could also choose to use a mobile wallet. Okay. Now, let's talk about hardware wallets. We're coming to the point where we're going to talk about how to secure these wallets. Okay. Now, hardware wallets are physical devices specifically designed to secure our funds. Okay. Now, the same way that the software wallet stores our private keys and helps us to manage them, the hardware wallet does the same thing. But the difference is the hardware wallet stores these keys offline. In other words, it has no connection with the internet. Okay. However, there are some hardware wallets these days that have the option of connecting to the internet. All right. So, because the hardware wallets basically is designed to store our private keys offline, we can say that they offer the highest level of security, okay, keeping them isolated from internet connected devices. So, for example, if you choose not to connect your hardware wallet to any internet, device, then that would reduce the risk of your wallet being hacked. Okay, because I mean that's the most important reason why we're endeavoring to secure our wallets, right? To prevent them from to prevent the bad guys, right, from accessing them. Mm-hmm. So a very popular hardware wallet that we all know is the Nano, Ledger Nano. Okay, so we have 2 or 3 different types of Ledger Nano wallets, and we have the Trezor wallet and KeepKey. Now, if you feel the need to own one of these, it's quite easy, to do this. You can make this purchase from the official website of these wallets. Okay, so for example, let's try to make a purchase from um, Ledger Nano. Okay, so we want to go to their website. So if we search on Ledger Nano, we'll be able to see their website right here. So it's www.ledger.com. Okay, So we can go straight to the shop, or we can go from the website, and we now go to the shop. Okay. So if we go to the website, here it is. All right. Now, these are the different wallets, making them more attractive in different colors. And we have two different types. Okay. So we have the Ledger Nano X. Okay, three actually. Okay, we have the Ledger Stacks. We have, this is yet to come, but for now there are two, Nano X and Nano S Plus. So it depends on which one you wish to purchase. So if you want to purchase, you can simply go to here and select the one you want, and you would see where to actually make the payment. So when you select your color, you need black, click on add to cart. And once you've added to cart, you want to do a checkout. So you need one of these. In Naira, it's about 136,355. And you click on checkout. And if you do not have an account, it's going to ask you to create an account and fill in your billing details. Okay. So you put in your email, fill up the billing details, and of course, you'll be redirected to a page where you're going to put in your card details to make the payment. And the address you fill up here, now this is your shipping address, okay? So the address you fill up here will determine where this device will be shipped to, okay? And how to use these devices is not difficult, because the manual on how to go about it is right there in the wallet as you get it, okay? And also, if you happen to purchase any of this, feel free to reach out to me and I can assist you in making good use of it. So this is an example of hardware wallets where you compare the prices, Trezor, KeepKey, Ledger Nano. But trust me, guys, there is no wallet that does not have a vulnerability, okay? So this is what we're going to talk about now, and how to best keep it secure. So how does hardware wallet work, and what makes it really secure? Well, hardware wallets typically use a combination of secure elements such as encryption, PIN codes, which means these PIN codes grant, just like your, mobile wallet. By the time you create it, you have the private key and everything. But for you to be able to quickly access it, all right, you have to input your PIN code, perhaps a 6-digit number or 4-digit, depends, okay? Now, these are used to protect access to your wallet, while the private keys gives the direct access to the funds in your wallet, okay? So these hardware wallets are usually considered the most secure, okay? Especially if it's more like a savings wallet, okay, where you would just want to be dumping your cryptocurrencies or your coins without actually taking it out over a long period of time. So this is the best kind of storage, all right, you want to use. And make sure not to forget your PIN code combination. Now, we've talked about software wallets, we've talked about hardware wallets. Now, what about paper wallets? Okay, so paper wallets involve the printing out of the public key. I'm just gonna, okay, let's read it. Okay, so it involves the printing out of the public and private keys on a physical medium, which is a paper, or I don't know, a cloth, a leather. It's up to you, okay? But there are a few problems with paper wallets. We're gonna come to that, okay? But just like hardware wallets that store our private and public keys offline, paper wallets also do the same thing. For example, I mean, if your private key is generated and your public key is generated, and you just write it down on paper, okay? That's it. No one can search on the internet and have access to that information except you take a picture of that paper and upload it somewhere. Maybe your email. And that's what a lot of people do, which is very, very, very dangerous. And something happens and they're like, how did I mean, I wrote my private key down on paper. I didn't, send it to anyone, blah, blah, blah. See? So if your private keys and public key resides only in the paper, it's completely offline. All right? However, there are still challenges. If you misplace or perhaps you don't keep it the proper way, it could still be vulnerable and accessible by others, okay? So paper wallets can be generated using different ways, okay? You could write down the private keys, make sure you don't miss one letter, okay? You could write down the recovery phrase. Remember, we talked about the different types of private keys. We have the private key, of course, or should I rather say different types of security or access to your wallet. So we have private key, we have the recovery phrase, we have the key store, okay? So in this case, in this example you see here in the picture, it is the private key for that wallet that is written. So you see the QR code is called a quick response code. This thing you see here in a square box with all sorts of black and white dots, okay? So it's a representation of the information right here, okay? Now, if you scan this one, I don't know if you can see okay? If you scan this one right here, you will be able to see or have access to the address, which is this, okay? Meanwhile, if you scan this one, it gives you access to what? The private key. So it's just a simple way of, encrypting this information on a QR code, okay? So for easy access, like we said, if you're importing it into a mobile wallet, you can simply scan and that's it. You have access to it, okay? So the paper wallet and the hardware wallets actually have similar features, but there are differences. Notice this line. It says, caution must be exercised when handling and storing paper wallets to prevent loss, damage, or unauthorized access. All right. So there are websites that you could use to generate paper wallets. I'm going to share one with you. Now, these websites help you to generate the private keys, or rather the paper wallet, and then you can print it. It doesn't store it online, okay? The moment it's generated, you print it and that's it, all right? However, it's best to write it down or get the QR code for your private key or a public key if you're tech inclined. There's a way you can actually represent your private key on the QR code or represent it on, uh, a, a paper, or rather, I'm talking about the address. You could also represent the address on a QR code. And there's a way as well, you could actually encrypt it in such a way that when someone scans, it still needs some sort of, password or something to be able to access it. However, that's going off from paper wallets, right? So if you would not want to go through the stress of generating this QR code, or if you're afraid, oh, it's still online, I'm generating this, there could be some sort of vulnerability, you could actually choose to write it down yourself in a paper. However, the way you store that paper, can determine if you're actually going to eventually lose that wallet or not, okay? So now, we've talked about the paper wallet, the hardware wallet, the software wallet. Now, how can we best secure each of these kind of wallets? Well, I'll tell you. For the software wallet, okay, on your mobile device, if it's stored on your mobile device, there are different ways you could do that. Okay, for example, the Trust Wallet. Now, you want to use a very strong PIN code, okay, a combination that is very difficult for others to know, okay? Now, remember, what we're trying to secure is the access to the funds in the wallet. Okay, so if you have a mobile wallet, it means that you can use the mobile wallet to create a digital a crypto wallet where you can put your funds. You could use the software wallets to create a public key where funds can be sent to, and it automatically generates a private key to help you access that wallet. Alternatively, you could use the software wallet to do what? Import an already created wallet using the private key or the recovery phrase or the key store to be able to access and store that wallet in the software wallet you've downloaded. Trust, Token Pocket, doesn't matter, okay? Now, if that is the case, you could choose to store it in different ways, okay? Now, you have the private key, you have the recovery phrase, you have the key store. It's up to you which one you want to you choose to store, because each of these can give you access to your wallet. Okay, so let's say you choose to store the private key, which is an example of what we see in the picture here. Okay, now how would you do that? Would you simply say you import your wallet in your mobile phone, and then you use the PIN code to store it, and that's it? Now, if that's what you do, what if something happens to your mobile phone? What if it falls into the water? What if you, misplace your phone or something happens? You just can't have access to information on your phone. So automatically it means if the private key is not stored elsewhere, it's gone. All right? Now, the moment you store your wallet, there is always a important request that any software wallet will ask you, and that is to do what? To back up your private key or your recovery phrase. In most cases, recovery phrase. Okay, so you always be asked to back up your recovery phrase. So the backing up means in case something happens to this device and I don't have access anymore, I need an information, which is the recovery phrase or the private key that I would use to do what? Access the funds using any other device. Maybe I get a new device. I can use the recovery phrase to do what? Access the funds using that device. So that's why you're always asked to do what? Back up your recovery phrase or back up your private key. So it's usually best to have your private keys stored securely offline in different locations. Now, I'll tell you something that makes a lot of people compromise their wallets by themselves without realizing it. Now, if you have an Android device, let's talk about Android devices, even iPhones, okay? In fact, for iPhones, the setting that allows you to automatically upload information in your device to the cloud is always on. All right. Now, on Android devices, Google gives you that setting automatically for you to do what? Upload pictures, videos, in fact, media to the cloud, mostly pictures and videos, okay? For documents, you could actually do that manually, or you could choose to, do that automatically as well. However, that setting to upload these photos and videos is automatic. So any picture you take with your phone's camera is automatically being what? Uploaded to your Google Drive or whatever server that is connected. Okay? Now, when this happens, you don't know. In your mind, you check and you see the picture you took, it's there. And you're like, you've not sent it to anyone, you never sent it on WhatsApp, you never, sent it to the cloud, but it's already uploaded. Now, something happened somewhere, somehow, because the hackers are always active. They are looking for anybody who is vulnerable. And for some reasons, your Gmail account gets hacked. Or let's say your email gets hacked. Now, something a lot of people don't realize is the moment you have a Gmail account, that access to your Gmail account or to your Gmail is the same access that all the softwares connected that is under the umbrella of Google is the same access you use. YouTube, Google Classroom, your Gmail, your Google Documents, Google Sheets, everything, Google Meet, all the applications that Google has is the same email and password you'd use to do what? Access it. So the moment your email is hacked, everything, your Google Photos, your Google Drive, your Google, Drive, okay, your Google Document, everything is now being accessed by this, intruder. So if you have that setting on and you are taking a picture of your private key with your phone, you are indirectly making that information public. So it is best, first of all, to set your phone to disable automatic upload of your media files, be it pictures or videos. Disable that on your phone, and I'll show you how to do that. Let me just use this a few minutes. I'm going to stop this screen share, and I'll share my other screen, and I'll show to you how to do that, because this is very important. And before I start this experiment or this exercise, I want to share a warning. For those of you who have been thinking the best way to secure is to send to your email. You have two emails. You send from one email to the other one, and you say, I didn't send it to anybody, I sent it to myself. But you don't know what happens. Automatically, that mail is saved on Google's server. So it's public. Emails for more than 10, 20, 30 years. Yeah, okay. Let me stop at 10, 20. Okay, or 15 years. Okay. If you search back, emails of 10 years ago is there. So it's public. All right. Now, that's the idea you have. That it's best to save it there because anytime you can have access and, see it. But that is very, very wrong. If you have been doing that, the warning is to do what? Stop. That is a very, very wrong practice in trying to secure your wallets or private keys. Don't do that again. Okay? And like I mentioned to you, I would recommend that you do what? Stop or disable. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't, back up your photos automatically. I mean, you can do that because a lot of people, they feel that they have to get this turned on so that they may forget to upload these, pictures so that they can always have access to it. But I'm going to tell you why it's important. I mean, you all know, but let me show you how to actually do that. I'll share my screen now, and you will be able to see. Okay. So now, for you to disable your automatic backup of your files to your Google Drive. Now, usually where this goes to is your Google Drive or your Google Photos, okay? What you have to do is to come to Google. Let's go to Google Photos, okay? So this one right here is Google Photos. So I'm just gonna annotate this right here, okay? So we go to Google Photos, and you see, so you notice here, backup is turned off. See, that's the case for me already. Backup is turned off. So I would not turn it on. But for you who has yours turned on, where can you turn it off? Well, follow me. So you come here to settings, okay? We'll go to photo settings, this one right here. See, photo settings, we'll click on it, and you would see the option backup. You notice it's off here, right? So I'm just gonna click on that. And you see, yours will be turned on. So all you need to do is to do what? To turn it back off. That's for photos, okay? Now you could actually come to your Google Drive and do the same thing, okay? Let's go to Google Drive. Okay, Google Drive would come to settings here. Okay, you see settings, all right? And then we'll see the option backup and reset, okay? Okay, so now there are two options. So backup settings for your device is here. We'll check this. All right. So you notice backing up is turned off. Okay. That is why it's asking me to do what? Turn it on. So it's already turned off. Okay. So we can also come down here where it says transfer files over Wi-Fi. So uploading and updating of files will pause when Wi-Fi connection isn't available. So actually turn this off, okay, so that it doesn't automatically upload. In fact, it wouldn't, because the backup settings already is saying that it's turned off, okay? So you see, it's turned off. So I will not click on turn it on, because the moment I click on turn it on, it begins to upload all the files or pictures I've taken on this device, okay? So that's what you can do, and that's what you can do to actually turn off the automatic backup of your Google account, okay? So it's really important that you turn that off, so that whatever pictures, if you are taking, because I mean, we are humans, right? We can't have everything in our brain. So maybe you're taking pictures to maybe keep it to delete it later, all right? Make sure that your backup is turned off so that it doesn't go into the cloud, okay? Now let's continue from here where we stopped. So now we've been able to see what we have to do first of all, okay, for our private keys. So we've mentioned we don't want to save them in our email, and we don't want to turn on the, we don't want to turn on backup for our Google accounts, okay? Now, what about how we can store the private keys? So we can do this by writing it down on a paper, okay? And I'm going to do a different video for this during the week, okay? I'm going to take you step by step of what I do personally, okay, to store my private keys. I'm going to show you what I do, okay? There are far more in-depth measures to take, but I'm just going to show you what you can understand and what you can do, okay? Now, make sure you don't have your private keys or your recovery phrase in one location, okay? Let me leave that information until you watch the video. So look out for the video I'm going to share later on, step-by-step process on how to secure your wallets. So it's optional. Remember, it's not a disclaimer. It's optional if you want to use that strategy, or from what we have discussed so far, you already have an idea of how you can store your private keys, okay? So I'm going to share that video with you. Watch out for it. Now, let's move on to managing passwords, okay? Now, a lot of the times why our accounts get hacked, for example, our Gmail account or email accounts, or whatever account we've created on centralized, websites. One of the reasons why our accounts get hacked is because we do not use a strong password. Also, we use the same password combination for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 different websites that we are accessing. Now, this is very, very challenging. It's a very big problem. Okay, there are tools you can use. You can Google that. That can be a research. Tools you can use to check, if your password is vulnerable in the internet. Okay, because there are web crawlers that check out for these kind of inefficiencies. So if you're using a password that has been breached, or that someone else or people have been able to, find access to, then that, tool will be able to tell you, oh, look, this password is unsafe. It has been breached in the past, okay? So you can research what tools can you use to make that happen, okay? Google has such tools as well. Now, password management. How can we create a strong password? Well, unique passwords for your wallets can be created using a combination of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and even special characters. So a lot of people, when you are asked to create a password, you just put your name and your date of birth. And you think, who can know my date of birth? Really? Or who can combine my name and my date of birth? Seriously? That's so easy. So easy. By the time you're filling that form, are you not filling it, or are you not filling date of birth in that form you're filling? All the registrations you've done, 80% of such registrations on the website request for what? Your name, your surname, your date of birth, your nationality. Isn't that what they request for? So combining these two, in fact, hackers actually use a software that, combines all possible, passwords you could use, having come to know your name, your date of birth, or perhaps place of origin. So they impute this data, and that software sort of scans out this possible, combinations you could actually use. And it sure definitely will come up with your password if that's the combination you used, okay? So we don't want to do that. We don't want to use our name and our date of birth and think we have created a strong password. Now, a strong password is seen in this example here. Trust me, it's going to be very difficult for an average person, or even for a software, to guess this. I mean, if my name is Michael Briggs, for example, how does this password connect with my name? No, it doesn't. But some of you will be asking, oh, are you telling me that I can cram this? I mean, how can I memorize this? It's obviously not possible. Well, there are some people who can. But if you can't, that is why where you need a tool called Password Manager. Password Manager, okay? You could install applications, another research for you, okay? So your first research is to check out for a tool that scans to know if your password has been breached in the internet. The second research now is to search for tools that can be used as password managers. There are so many of them online, okay? So how these tools work is that they help you save and remind you of your password. For example, on Samsung, they have what we call Secure Pass. That's an example of a password manager. So it's sort of, you can store in there the password and the website that you're using that password for. You could store it in email and a password, or even a username, and it stays as saves it or stores that offline. And of course, there's a PIN code or password that you could use to access those details there. Okay, so do that research and find out some password managers you can use. Now, you'll be thinking, oh, that's too much work. Oh, that's too much work. Oh, really? Well, if you really need your funds to be secured, then yes, you would go through all of this to make sure that hackers do not have access to your wallets. Okay? Now, two-factor authentication, like the name goes, two-factor, which means it's like a double layer security. In fact, today we have three-factor authentications. There are wallets that use three-factor authentication like Zengo. Okay, so but basically two-factor authentication adds an additional layer of security by requiring a second form of verification. So for example, for those who have such enabled on their Gmail account, you input your email and password and it's correct, right? And they will now ask, perhaps they could ask for a two-factor authentication digit, which is maybe the six-digit key that you use to access it. Or some could actually set up their phone numbers, which is their mobile phone numbers, which belongs to them as the two-factor authentication. And some could even set up another email to verify their access to that account. So there are so many ways, okay? But basically, when we talk about two-factor authentication, there are applications in the stores like App Store and Google Play Store that you can download to generate these two-factor authentication and link it with whatever account you're interacting with online or even your wallets. Okay, so you could add that extra layer of security to your wallet. Yes, you can do that, and it's recommended highly that you do that. So examples of such authenticators include Google Authenticator, Authy, Protectimus, Microsoft Authenticator, and also LastPass. There are many more, but these are verified ones that I use. So the only one I don't use here is LastPass. I use Google, Authy, Protectimus, and Microsoft. Now, the good thing about these two, Google and Microsoft Authenticator, is that you can back up the accounts you've added a two-factor authentication for on the app. So if it's Microsoft Authenticator, for example, you can choose a Microsoft account with which you can back up those codes. Because if you have that saved on your phone, for example, and something happens to your phone and you don't have access to the app, everything is wiped or you lose the phone entirely, how do you, if you go to any of the websites or the wallets you have that you've actually stored or generated a two-factor authentication for, you impute your email password or whatever it is you have access to, and you impute it. It now requests for the two-factor authentication code, which is no longer available. Now, how do you get that? So it becomes a problem. You have to start now writing to support and doing this, blah, blah, blah. It's too much long way, okay? So you could choose to back up using any of these applications, Microsoft or Google. So you back it up to a particular account. But disclaimer, note, the account you are backing this two-factor authentication keys with, if it gets compromised, for example, someone else has access to this account, someone knows the email and password of either your Google or Microsoft account, that backing up to the person will have access to the two-factor authentication as well. That is why I usually recommend backing up the, necessary details, because every time you create a two-factor authentication, it comes with a key, okay? It usually comes with a key. Some are 16 digits, some are 32, okay? So it comes with a key that you would use to connect that account on the app, okay? Either Google, Microsoft, all three protected modes, it doesn't matter. So it usually comes with a key. So I usually recommend that you write that key down on a paper. Write that key down on a paper and save it that way. Or you pay attention to the video I mentioned earlier that I will be sharing with you, and you'll be able to see how you can best do this. Because a lot of people are now saying, oh, how can I write it down on paper? I mean, really, what if I misplace it or something? Well, you've not misplaced your BSc, have you? Your BSc certificate, you've not misplaced it. In fact, some of you still even have your primary school certificates with you. So if you've not misplaced that, then it's definitely will be possible that you won't misplace this. However, watch out for the video. I'm going to share very helpful tips for you on that one, because if I have to do it here, it means it's going to take a very long time before we finish up. So now we've seen two-factor authentication and how we can use this. Examples of those I've shown you, you can download that on your Play Store or App Store, okay? Now, cold storage solutions. So when we talked about the different types of wallet, we mentioned software wallets, hardware wallets, and paper wallets, okay? Now, the kind of storage determines if a wallet is hot or cold, okay? So for wallets that are stored online, we refer to those wallets as hot wallets. For example, wallets that you have existing on cryptocurrency exchanges like Binance, KuCoin, Bitfinex, Bybit, XT, what? Name them, you name them, MXC and the rest, okay? Now, all of these exchanges, each exchange you have an account with, you have to use your email and password to open it, right? Except for decentralized exchanges like PancakeSwap, which is a Web3, okay? You can use your wallet ID to connect to it, and that's your access to it, okay? Now, these centralized exchanges, definitely is recommended that you use a two-factor authentication for each of these exchanges. Why? Because they contain wallets. Each exchange you open, a wallet is created for you. Now, those wallets do not have private keys because they are centralized exchanges, and the only way you have access to that wallet is through your email, password, and two-factor authentication. All right. So these are called hot wallets because they are online, accessible online all the time. They are there. So those kind of wallets are prone to hacks because the moment someone is able to discover the combination of your email and password, that's it. Except you have a two-factor authentication that has not been compromised. Okay. So these are hot wallets because they're online. Now, cold wallets, on the other hand, are wallets that are stored offline. You don't have access to them because you must need the private keys or the recovery phrase to be able to access it. So since it's not online, there's nothing to be hacked, except you upload that information online by means of, taking a photo of whatever it is you've written down, or keeping the paper you've written it down in, around. Or if it's in a hardware wallet like Ledger Nano or Trezor, someone has a combination of your PIN, that's it. Okay? So every kind of secure storage you have can be hacked. It all depends on your consciousness, alertness, and security. Okay? So it's up to you. But these cold storage solutions we're talking about are usually used for long-term storage of your digital assets. So you keep them offline, all right? So cold storage refers to keeping private keys offline, like we said, away from internet-connected devices and potential cyber threats. Now, this includes hardware wallets and paper wallets or other physical storage like USB drives, which I will show you in the video, okay? I'm going to show you how to do all of that, the USB drive. Now, the best and secure way to do that, I'll show you. Cold storage solutions offer an additional layer of protection against online attacks and malware. Yes, of course. So that's why this is highly recommended. Okay. However, people use hot wallets because they have assets on exchanges. And if you remember the news about FTX exchange, this is the real reason why a lot of people were crying, because people, instead of moving their funds from the hot wallet on the centralized exchange to a cold wallet to which only them have access to, they left it there. And when the exchange collapsed, everything went. So the exchange has the access to each of these wallets. So it's as if you're entrusting them that, okay, you believe that they won't take funds from your wallet. And of course, there's a privacy agreement to all of that. But I mean, anything that can be agreed upon can at the same time be what? Disagreed upon. So yeah, it's always best to store your funds offline. Okay, so I just mentioned about FTX. So there are a few situations here. The God Exchange hack happened 2014, right? What happened? People who had funds stored in that hot wallet, their different accounts, amounted to 850,000 Bitcoins. 850,000 Bitcoins. Guys, it's not a small money. Convert that, multiply that by 20,000 or 30,000 it is today. 30,000. You know how much that is. Okay. So that's why we recommend using a hardware wallet. A hardware wallet, or rather, let me just say a cold storage, a cold wallet, because cold wallet can be paper, can be the Ledger Nano, it can be a USB stick. Okay. So that video I'm going to share with you. I'm going to also show you all of that. Okay. So another example of Ledger Nano here is a popular hardware wallet that offers a secure and user-friendly way to store and manage cryptocurrencies. Okay, so we talked about it before. It's by using a hardware wallet like Ledger Nano, users can significantly reduce the risk of online attacks and unauthorized access. But remember, like I told you, some hardware wallets today have the option of allowing you to connect your wallet to the internet. So it's still up to you. If you do that and you lose, or rather you expose, your details, or it becomes exposed because of the fact that it's been connected online, then there's a problem. All right. And we talked about giving you a website where you can actually generate paper wallets, which will give you the QR code for that address you've put in. Okay. bitaddress.org. Okay. So you can navigate to this website to do that. I'm just going to highlight it. Okay. No, I can't do that now. Okay. So bitaddress.org. You can head over there and impute your details, the private key or the recovery phrase, whatever it is, and it's gonna, just set it up for you, and then you can print it out. Okay. Okay. So far we've been able to talk about the different types of wallet, and we've talked about how to, create strong passwords. And you have 2 assignments in this module. Doing a research about a password manager, an app that you could be using to manage your passwords, since you'll be using very difficult to remember passwords like this. Okay. And also, what was the other assignment we told you? To look out for a tool that can help you check if the password you've imputed has been breached in the past. Okay. So there are tools online that can help you do that. Okay, so this is where we come to the end of this module. No doubt, by understanding different types of wallets, we've been able to show you, okay, how you can best safeguard your digital assets. So 3 tips I gave to you today. Do not store your private keys or security related information in your email and think it's secured. 2, disable automatic upload to your Google Drive or your apps, what's it called? Your iCloud, okay? Disable automatic update only if you would be taking pictures, okay, that will compromise the security of your wallet. So if you know that you will not be taking pictures of your wallet using your phone, it's okay. Leave your automatic upload on, and whatever you want to upload is fine. But if you'll be taking your phone to snap pictures, turn it off. Once in a while, you do your upload manually. You select the pictures you want to upload and upload them manually. In that way, you have not, uploaded your private keys that you've taken a picture of. Okay. And the 3rd tip we shared with you is never use your name and your date of birth as a combination for your password, thinking it is secure, because it can easily be determined by hackers and they can easily have access to your accounts or wallets. So these security measures is not only for crypto wallets, but it's also for any access you try to, have online, any website you want to access online. These tips can help you a great deal. Okay. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your patience in learning this course, this module. So as I mentioned earlier, look out for that video. Hopefully it's going to be connected to this video. You're going to see the link as you conclude watching this one. All right. So thank you and have a beautiful day.